The title isn't a bait. I'm giving up on YouTube, but probably not the way you think. I'll have a more detailed explanation of what you can expect from me in this channel further in the video, but first, I want to explain what I mean when I say I'm giving up. When I say I'm giving up on YouTube, what I mean is I'm done chasing the infamous YouTube algorithm. It's created an unhealthy mindset for me towards content creation, and I prefer to make creative things that I enjoy and I'm proud of, even though they may not adhere to a certain algorithmic template or whatever. I pride myself on being open and honest to you all about myself and my mental health, and I think it's important that other people see that they're not alone in their struggles, and I'm not pretending to be somebody or something I'm not. I'm a dude, just being a dude. Which is why I want to sit down and talk to you all today. I've even prepared a script this time, which typically I don't, but I want to at least make sure I'm hitting the right notes. So the mental damage that chasing the algorithm has caused me is real, and I've been working really hard in 2022 on myself and with a therapist to work through these sorts of feelings and expectations to try and find a healthier mindset. A lot of it boiled down to my measurements of success. Now, what do I mean by measurements of success? We all have one, whether or not we have made it expressly clear to ourselves and others, or made it a subconscious measurement, like it turns out mine was. I put a lot of, frankly too much, value in myself based on my work, based on content creation. My self-worth will almost always certainly mirror how my work is doing. If YouTube is booming, so am I. If YouTube is failing, so am I. For the longest time, without realizing I had made one, my measurement of success was just staying steady. Years ago, I was growing and averaging numbers that currently seem impossible to achieve. However, the graph from month to month, year to year was a flat line, so to speak. I was stagnant, but consistent. I wasn't going viral, I wasn't seeing massive swings, but I never saw a decline. That bar never dipped. I could upload whatever I wanted, and views would be almost the same regardless. And if you know me, that means monkey brain happy for myself. I like to do several different things, try all the things, and at that point in my YouTube career, I didn't have to stop and ask myself why I was content with the way it was. The reality is because I was meeting my measurements of success, which was stay steady. Things seemed fine and I marched along. Cue Among Us. Now, I'm not going to go into all that since I've discussed it at length so many times. I will say that I used to see Among Us and the chaos it caused my channel after the fact as a negative, but I'm now at a place in my life where I see it as a positive. I'm sitting here making this video and having this discussion with you because of the events that took place during and after the Among Us era, and it forced me to step back and actually get perspective on where I am in my life and content creation that would have continued to have been pushed off until I inevitably became burnt out. The mental toll it would have had on me would have been far worse. I now see it as life's way of telling me to slow it down. The important takeaway is, Among Us, it comes, our channel explodes, and we go averaging about 100,000-ish views on daily videos to 1 million plus at one point. It was insane and unsustainable. Once I stopped Among Us, I expected things to go back to how they were, but maybe with a slightly higher baseline if even just a small percentage of Among Us viewers stuck around. But instead, we actually rubber banded and fell to a new average for that was about half of what it used to be. Not only that, but numbers started to fall month after month. I still haven't even seen a positive month of subscribers, and it's been 2 years. And that could just suck to look at, even if I know why it is. So maybe you see where I'm getting at here. Suddenly, I became discontent with YouTube. I was restless, emotional, and distraught. I was already feeling burnt out before Among Us, after working myself to the bone for nearly 5 years straight. And now all these metrics were falling, and what I'm trying to get at here is I was no longer meeting my measurement of success. Although circumstances had changed, my measurement of stay steady no longer was. So without knowing what I was doing to myself, I set the new measurement of success as return to normal. Normal being the average numbers and metrics and steady growth I had before Among Us. So what was happening was, in order to be successful or fulfilled, I was relying on all these variables that I can't control. I know what some of you may be thinking, you can control numbers, you can control subs, Mr. Beast tells me it's really easy. And for him it certainly is, and for some others too. However, at the end of the day, I can't make you click my video, or anyone for that matter. I can't make you watch my video or engage with it. I can't make anyone do that. I can't make the algorithm push certain content. Can I try? Absolutely. And I did. I threw everything in the kitchen sink at it. I tried to change titles, thumbnails, editing styles, and content several times over. I researched and looked wherever I could to find more information on how to try and please the algorithm and changing viewer habits. This is where I truly became disheartened and discontent with it all. Not only was I trying to do all of this, but nothing seemed to work. Instead of making content that I wanted to make, I was worried about whether or not my thumbnail will catch a certain percent of new viewers, or whether my intro can keep X amount of users for a certain retention rate percentage. And that's not what I enjoy about YouTube or content creation. I enjoy making content that I like. I have a good friend, Amtash, that some of you may know, and he loves this kind of stuff. He loves the more analytical and business side of this job. And, Mr. Beast, who I mentioned before, also has a knack and love for that kind of thing. But simply put, I don't. Which reminds me, I'm actually looking for someone to potentially help me with all of this. I haven't found anyone yet, and it's hard to know where to start looking, so might as well try here. If understanding analytics, metrics, algorithm, viewer behaviors, trends, etc. is something you like and have experience with, I'd love to try and hire someone on board to serve as a sort of content manager. Someone who hopefully knows my content well and can plug into the community and my channel analytics to serve as a partner to help talk ideas through, future content, brand management, etc. I want to be able to offload this sort of stuff that I'm not good at, that also takes time away from doing what I think I do best, making content. Additional skill sets are welcome and could also change what the job and pay would look like. If you're also an editor, for instance, that could be something we could integrate. You could even be someone who's doing YouTube yourself and could use the additional income while also interested in growing and participating in a project like this. If this does sound like something you're interested in, please submit only genuine inquiries with information on yourself, including qualifications, etc., to mrfruitmanager@gmail.com. Again, that's mrfruitmanager@gmail.com. Serious inquiries only. So the point is, it's not what I'm good at, and making it a priority sucked. And if anything, it backfired. It's the whole mantra of not wanting to lose something, so you hold on desperately, but then you squeeze too tightly and you let it slip by. That's what I did with my YouTube channel. My core and regular view base suddenly had no idea what to expect from me. I didn't know what to expect from me either. Things were changing so much and so consistently that I don't blame any of them for being confused and tuning out or just completely leaving my content sphere, so to speak. And if I can't keep my core viewers, then I don't stand a chance. And what I realized is that those viewers are the ones I care about and I'm making content for. I don't want to make content for new viewers who are as fickle as the wind. I want to make content for the people who have plugged into my community, who enjoy my content for what it is and for what it could provide for them. Because one reason I want to return to more frequent uploads on this channel is consistency. Not just for myself, but for the viewer, you. I want you to know what to expect because I know for a lot of people, they consume my content as part of their schedule or even as some sort of coping mechanism. Whatever it may be, I want to be that thing for you. Because the reason I started YouTube over 11 years ago was because other creators at the time did that very thing for myself, and I wanted to pay it forward by being the very same foundation for others. The algorithm also loves consistency. Before, that could have just meant consistent uploads, but that's no longer the case. They like to see consistent viewer habits, and seemingly the best way to do that is by identifying clear user retention patterns. What does this user watch? How did they watch? And what caused them continue watching on our platform, i.e. YouTube? Then how do we keep them watching? That's the real trick. From what I found, this typically looks like niche or focused YouTube channels, especially the ones that are trending or growing large most of the time. Large, whatever, you know what I mean. For instance, Asdacross is a Destiny 2 content creator who performs very well on a per video basis. That's because returning viewers and new viewers know what to expect from him. Destiny 2. So if a YouTube user is looking for Destiny 2 content, maybe find a different video from a different user, but if they watch that and then YouTube's wanting to keep them, they may recommend their next video be an Asdacross video, even though it's a different channel. Because through their analytics, they've found that people interested in this topic, Destiny 2, have found Asdacross videos to be similarly, if not more appealing, and with higher retention rates. So once a user finds Asdacross and determines if they like his content, they now know where to look next time they're wanting to find out more about Destiny 2. Or YouTube will keep this in mind and recommend or push his content out to their feed when they can. Then you have somebody like me who posts anything and everything under the sun. There's advantages and disadvantages, as you can imagine, but over the years and the shift in the viewer habits and algorithm changes, it appears the cons, for the most part, outweigh the pros more often than not when it comes to variety. If someone were to ask me for advice about starting a new channel these days, the best advice would be find a niche, fulfill that niche. The narrower the target, the better it seems to be. Because content like I produce casts a very wide net, but it lands in very shallow waters. Oppositely, a niche channel, you could throw a very narrow net, but into very, very deep waters. Somebody may happen upon a video of mine because they're looking for Destiny 2 as well. They may think, hey, that was a pretty cool video. I wonder what his other Destiny content looks like. And they go to my channel only to find Destiny 2 dotted throughout a sea of other games and videos. They may have zero interest in other games. You know, that's just what it is. And so they may not have liked the video enough to see it as a Mr. Fruit video, but rather a Destiny 2 video. So they move on or decide they're only going to watch my Destiny 2 content. Totally understandable. Now my next upload gets shown to them, however. It's not Destiny 2, and so they think, not interested, I'll wait for the next Destiny 2 video. They don't end up clicking it, but now YouTube sees less click-through rate among normal viewers of my channel. And if they don't see high enough interaction from regular viewers, or like, you know, subs, those most likely to watch my content, why would they push it out to any other users? And because I've gathered so many different viewers and subscribers from so many different games, they also have such different viewing habits. A video a typical Overwatch 2 viewer is most likely to click and watch is very different than an Among Us viewer. That's a like super generalized way of explaining the much deeper subject that is YouTube and the algorithm. So there lies the catch-22 of variety. You have more opportunities to find different users since you're covering a wider variety of games, but most of them are only interested in consuming that kind of video. I've always tried to operate as a personality channel rather than a specific game channel. The appeal being, come watch Mr. Fruit play this game, rather than come watch this video about this game that just so happens to have Mr. Fruit in it. Or, you know, even Mr. Fruit and his friends play this specific game. Well, here's the problem with things shifting towards that sort of content approach. I can't do that. I can't play a single game, or even just a small handful of games, for a long period of time. My brain just doesn't let me. And wouldn't you know it, I got a delayed and very eye-opening diagnosis of ADHD last year. A likely reason for the misdiagnosis all this time being that ADHD can show symptoms very similar to depression and vice versa, and they're more often than not comorbid. So, understanding that I have depression, generalized anxiety, and ADHD helped me better understand why my brain operates how it does, and ways to work with my brain rather than against. The whole, you know, don't go against the grain, go with it. It's way easier. For instance, trying to make my brain interested and engaged on one thing, and one thing only, over an extended period of time just doesn't work. I know that one day I'm going to randomly wake up, and all interest in that thing is just poof. It's going to be gone. For no reason aside from the way my brain hyperfocuses and chases, you know, certain serotonin factors and triggers and all that stuff. That's why during the Among Us boom, despite the crazy numbers and success at the time, I still couldn't continue to do just Among Us. Now my mistake was more of the cold turkey approach rather than like a slow decline of Among Us uploads over time until it was more manageable. It's also why there are times where I think I can manage something like that. But again, a time will come where it's just no longer feasible. Overwatch 2 was a recent example, although there are more issues to just that than my ADHD, including the game itself, the future of the game, the microtransactions, the reception of the game, so on and so forth. Point being, no matter what happens, I can never be a one-trick pony. It's why every game I play, I have no main, and I make a joke about every new thing being my main because it's just that little hit of dopamine. I've been playing League of Legends for 10 years, and I can't stand to play a single champion more than like 2 games in a row. I just can't do it. Instead of fighting it, I'm going to continue leaning into it. With me, you'll never know what you'll get. Maybe that's a good thing, maybe I don't know. I love playing so many different games across so many different genres and trying to make it entertaining regardless. So I've been trying to change my measurements of success to things I can control to bring it back. Now, spoilers, that's a lot easier said than done. I've been working on this for a while because I can tell myself I've changed my idea of success, but it's another thing to believe it. That's some real subconscious shenanigans that are proving very tough to wrestle through. But that's also why I'm making this video today, because I want to make my commitment and ideas known to you, because that's one of my new measurements of success. I've always enjoyed and made it a point to be honest, real, and human with you guys, being open about my mental health, both at times when they're good and bad. So firstly, I'm going to continue that dialogue and keep it a priority, and hopefully this video is a sign of that. Secondly, I want to create content that I'm happy with, content that I'm proud of. It doesn't have to meet certain ideas or expectations for an algorithm or for even some viewers, so long as I'm enjoying it. That's what I'll upload. Thirdly, I want to stick to uploading consistently. Now this one, I'm still deciding what it should look like because it could very quickly become detrimental. If I make it an arbitrary number, like, 20 uploads a month or something, I'm just throwing numbers around. If I'm unable to hit that during a week or the month or whatever because I'm having a really tough time mentally, or I'm sick, or I have equipment issues, suddenly I no longer have fulfilled my measurement of success. What I think I'll do is make it more of a schedule commitment. I'll have an outline of what I want to do every week, and I'll do my best to complete everything while allowing for some leeway. My biggest struggle with YouTube has always been its ambiguity by design. I don't have a boss. I don't have deadlines. I don't have a clear idea of the things that need to be done, and once done, I'm done. There's always more to do, and my problem is that I always take on more. Oh, finished with something earlier than expected? Cool. More time to do more work. I'll just add a few more things to my plate. I can handle it. And I always overload myself and work too much. When I tell you that every day, every week, every month, every year is essentially work, gym, work, sleep, I'm not exaggerating. And it's not healthy. It's not a brag or anything. So instead, forming a malleable schedule that once the boxes are checked off can be considered enough for the day or the week, and most importantly, making room to be kind and understanding to myself. Sometimes there will be obstacles that make it harder or potentially impossible to execute on a measurement, and instead of feeling like I failed, taking stock of what happened, why it's okay, and looking forward, not back. I'm going to make those 3 things my new measurements of success. Things that no longer depend on others for. They're all variables that I, and I alone, can control. Now, while I say that, it'll still be tough. YouTube is by and large a numbers game, and there's certainly a danger to ignoring numbers, so I won't be doing that. However, what I can do is prevent them from having such a large hold over my mental well-being. Hopefully other creators may see this and can take something away from this, or even those of you watching with other jobs or at other stages of your life. It's important to note this is also only pertaining to what I deem to be success in relation to me and my work. I'm also creating and having other measures for what fulfillment looks like outside of content creation, like being an attentive and dutiful husband, a loving and caring father to my dogs, etc. Now, to bring it back to variety, some of you longer time fans might be like, hold up. Didn't you make another channel for this? And you'd be right. Almost a year ago, I created Mr. Fruit Plays. Unfortunately, it hasn't had the success I nor my YouTube partner manager were hoping for. The main idea of it at the time was having a fresh channel and blank canvas as far as the algorithm assumptions on, my viewer habits and audiences so that I could possibly catch on with variety. That didn't happen. However, I'm incredibly proud and happy with the content I've put up over there. The best part was that my success measurement at the time was to not worry about numbers, just upload fun videos and check back year in to see where it's at, and here we are. What I learned and remembered was how variety can creatively challenge me in ways that keep me engaged and fulfilled. The idea was to keep most of it running parallel with the main channel, but I also know there's still just a good amount of main channel viewers who don't know that it exists or just don't want to hop over to another channel. I've been debating re-uploading a couple of the videos to this channel sometime because I think there are some hidden gems that I'd love for others to see, like all the video game movies I'd created that I'm very proud of. So anywho, after alternating uploads all year between the two channels, I want to return to what I think I'm good at. I want this channel to still have mainstays when I'm engaged enough with the game that you guys also enjoy, like, Destiny 2 or Overwatch 2 or whatever the future may hold, in addition to bringing the variety back, just like we brought back Trouble in Terrorist Town a day or two ago. Now, I spoke to how changing how this channel looks consistently has a negative impact for myself and viewers, but I'm creating this video and outlining my ideas right now to hopefully set better expectations on what to look forward to for 2023. Disclaimer, this is all subject to change with time, creativity, and trends. I may have ideas for certain content I'm producing that involves more time investment per video, so uploads may slow down when doing stuff like that. Or there may be tons of stuff I want to cover at once, so there's a higher influx of videos at that time. I just want to be transparent that there's not a formula that I'll be following 100% per se, but the premise will always remain that I'm creating things I want to create that meet the quality I'm looking for while maintaining enough uploads to hopefully be a part of your guys' weekly routine. So for beginners, I'm not abandoning Mr. Fruit Plays. I always intend to use this channel in some capacity and for a different reason than the main channel. Currently, my idea for that channel is to continue leaning into more League of Legends uploads. And I know what you're thinking. What'd he just say? What? Well, it was happenstance that a League of Legends video was posted in the first place, but then it did really well for that channel. Better than anything else the past year by a good margin. And the one thing I had said myself and my partner manager was that from the beginning of the channel's creation, if something started picking up traction on the channel, I'd lean into it. Just see what happens. If something sticks, cool. Let's run with it. And once you know it, it happened to be League of Legends. Speaking of which, I'm also going to be looking for an editor to assist with the League of Legends content specifically. I'm looking for someone who's highly proficient at editing, but is also a League of Legends player themselves, since the edits and content don't work if you don't understand what's happening in the game and the inside jokes and the community, the game, etc. Serious inquiries for this can be sent to mrfruitmanager@gmail.com as well, but with the header of the email specifying League of Legends. You could include body of work or proficiencies, description, anything you can throw in there. Greatly appreciate it. So in between those, maybe more MOBA-like content, since maybe some more skewed League players, such as Predecessor or Paragon. But I'm going to try and do more highly edited versions of content you may see on this channel, as well as variety, and I'll explain what I mean in a second. For this channel, our main channel, I want to return to daily uploads or near daily. Once I get into the groove of this new content schedule, I'll have a better idea of how much time it'll take and what I'm able to maintain for myself without overdoing it, keeping in mind what I had explained with my new measurements of success previously. If there's a day that there's not an upload here, then that probably means there's an upload on Mr. Fruit Plays. I can't really explain it, but even though I was uploading practically daily, just across two channels, so it was alternating, it just felt different than uploading daily here. Part of the stress too was knowing that whatever upload that would be uploaded here would have to be more focused on fewer games like Overwatch 2 or Destiny 2, and it created a rift in my brain, so to speak. So I already have a rough outline of content that I want to make. I want to bring back Dream Team Thursdays. It's a big old throwback, but used to, it wasn't even like Thursdays weren't dubbed Dream Team Thursdays, but every Thursday, a Dream Team video. And speaking of the Dream Team, we're actually now over 3 years into our podcast, GG Over Easy. There will be a link to the YouTube channel in the description, but it's also available to listen to on all podcast platforms if you feel so inclined. Just throwing that out there. I want to have a new series running through every week that people can follow along with, whether it's an episode or two a week. Just something that's episodic in nature. Spoilers, we'll be starting with One Block Skyblock Minecraft, because I never got to finish it back in the day, and it was really fun. I want to bring back variety, whether that be party games, TTT, or other miscellaneous content. This includes a series I'm tentatively looking at uploading on Sundays that creates a dedicated weekly video spot to highlighting an indie game or other various pieces of content that might not fit elsewhere. I also want to create more shorts, where I get to highlight some of the funnier moments in videos that are new or old, or that wouldn't make it into a video otherwise. The Overwatch 2 Sigma short I made a few months ago being an example of that. And all that finally brings me back to Mr. Fruit Plays. First off, if I have a bigger content idea that requires more time and editing, I'll be uploading them there more often than not. I want that channel to be less frequent uploads, but keeping a certain amount of quality. I also want to take some of the uploads we do here, for example, the future One Block Skyblock series I'm planning on, and turning that series into a single condensed video on Mr. Fruit Plays, using bits of the series to create possibly an entirely new narrative or feel in a single video with a new style that's fun and engaging in a different way. Same with TTT, perhaps almost making it like a highlight / best of series. Basically, I want to use some videos over there as more experimentation with editing and style, like I've done recently with the League of Legends, to scratch a different kind of creative itch, and to have them be less frequent, but when there is an upload, you can bet it's a banger. And if you don't already know about the More Mr. Fruit channel, I know, like, Jesus, how many channels does this guy have? That's our Let's Play / Pokemon channel. Most content is Pokemon Nuzlocke, but I've also done several Let's Plays of things that include, but aren't limited to, both God of Wars, Ghost of Tsushima, Portal 2 with Blue, Cuphead with Rob, Cult of the Lamb, and much more. That channel will continue to serve roughly the same purpose of Pokemon Nuzlocke / Let's Plays, and then various Let's Plays of non-Pokemon games. Lastly, I'll continue to stream on Twitch, which I've been doing consistently the past half year or so. I find it to be, frankly, cathartic, especially since majority of my job is being completely isolated. So having live viewer interaction is always a welcome addition to my day. I recently got my new branding for the channel too, so my username over there is now just Mr. Fruit. Unfortunately, there's tons of links before with my old My Mr. Fruit. It doesn't redirect you, and thousands of videos. There's no way I'm going to edit all that. So anyway, Mr. Fruit, just Mr. Fruit, all one word, no period. That's my new Twitch channel. Link in the description as well, if you're ever interested in hopping over there. Once I have a better idea of how my schedule looks making YouTube content, I'll be able to better assess and actually schedule and figure out where streams fit into all of that. And that's all I wanted to talk about today. After writing this all, I have no idea. That's looking like a long video. But hopefully it helps you get a better look into myself, my content, and the future of Mr. Fruit. I'm hoping that being able to actually sit down and script this, I won't wander or get lost in tangents like I usually do, because there's a clear message I want to get across with this video, and hopefully I did that. I want to thank all of you so much for supporting me throughout the years and allowing me to do what I do. Who knows how this will affect the channel moving forward, but I can assure you one thing: I ain't going anywhere. I ain't going anywhere. And I'd rather be happy and fulfilled doing what I want than worrying about chasing some unrealistic expectation or measurement of success. If financially things become to get sticky as a consequence, I can reevaluate or potentially look into something like Patreon or something if enough people are interested, but we don't need to worry about that now. I hope you all had a safe and happy holidays, New Year's Eve, New Year, whatever you might have done. Hopefully you're staying warm, because it do be cold out there. Appreciate you watching. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Farewell.